Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the September 16th, 2020 meeting of the Hyde Park Planning Board. Please note that this meeting is still being held virtually as authorized by Executive Order 202.6 by Governor Andrew Cuomo of the state of New York. May I first confirm that each planning board member is alone and not subject to any kind of duress or pressure from anyone present with you to make you vote a certain way. Ms. Wasser.
I am alone.
Ms. DiNapoli. You'll need to unmute, everyone.
I am alone.
Thank you. Mr. Oliver.
I am alone.
Mr. Pickett.
Alone.
Ms. Dexter.
I'm alone.
Ms. Weiser.
I'm alone.
Thank you. Please join me as we salute Old Glory. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The first item on the agenda is a continued public hearing for Dutchess County Boces. As a reminder, the applicants are seeking to combine 4 lots into one. Make it a motion to reopen the public hearing.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second, Chris Oliver.
Thank you. All in favor, please raise your hand and signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Ms. Axelson has joined us. Hey, Liz.
Howdy.
So we don't have anyone in the waiting room to offer public comment, and we have not received any public comment on this application whatsoever thus far. The applicant's representative, Mr. Wells, has indicated that the surveyor is still having server issues and so cannot make the changes. We did inform Mr. Wells after the last meeting, thank you, Ms. Whitman, our secretary, because I'd forgotten to, that since there is no meets and bounds description that we can find of the Verizon easement, a note on the map will be sufficient. So Mr. Wells asked us to open and adjourn this to October 7th. Are there any comments from consultants, Ms. Moss, or the board? There being none, make it a motion to adjourn this to October 7th.
So moved. Stephanie Wasser.
Second, Ann Weiser.
Thank you. All in favor, please raise your hand and signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. The next item on the agenda is Hyde Park Town Center North. This is for buildings 3, 4, and 5. This is an extension of the time in which they may complete construction. If you'll recall, they've changed 2 buildings already, reclad them. We're waiting on what we call the next building, which is what most locals would know as Feeds Plus. Making a motion to reopen the public hearing.
So moved, Chris Oliver.
Thank you.
Second, Diane DiNapoli.
Everyone in favor, please raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Note the motion carries unanimously. Kelly Leibolt is here representing the applicant. Ms. Leibolt, welcome.
Hello, good evening.
So we were waiting to, before we approved it, there was a request, I think a couple of meetings ago, to take care of some, we'll call them maintenance issues, repair issues, one of which is to paint plywood that's in the front windows a darker color so they'll blend in, and the other is to paint over or remove graffiti. I believe you're here to discuss that with us.
I am. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I actually did drive up there today, so I had a better understanding of what was going on up there, and I do apologize that we haven't done that yet. We had a bit of a delay, which many of you may have seen, with some safety issues with the brick. We happened to just be up on the roof of the building a few weeks ago and noticed that the brick was completely coming off the north side of the wall. So we quickly kind of assembled and have been focusing on that. I did drive up there today. I did take pictures of the building. I did receive confirmation from the property owner that they will do that this week. So we'll get the building, you know, the graffiti, we're just going to paint over the brick, which is really the color of the brick, which is brown. The glass will paint dark gray. The south side of the building now has some graffiti on it as well, so we'll paint that the color of the building. I, fear that they'll, maybe kind of come back and we'll just have to deal with that as it comes, but we will go ahead and get that done this week.
Thank you. Anyone have any questions or comments for Ms. Leibolt?
No, thank you.
I was going to say, can't someone say thank you? This is a nice thing to do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate it, Kelly. I think it's going to make the site look a lot better. The site looks so good now with the landscaping beginning to mature. The new buildings look terrific. I hope that we can resolve that last building, the old Grand Union, at some point going forward too. And I know we'll be discussing that tomorrow.
I agree. And we are submitting just on the other property to the south. We were before you before. We are submitting that Friday this week so we can resume that. And really architecture mimics the architecture here as well. So we're excited to present that to you in, I think, 2 weeks or a month.
In 2 weeks.
2 weeks. It'll go in on
Over
Friday.
2 weeks. Right.
Yep.
So thank you. There was no one signed up for public comment, correct, Councilman Krupnik?
You are correct, sir.
And we've received no written comment whatsoever. So making a motion to adjourn this meeting, public hearing also to October 7th.
So moved, Diane Tenapoli.
Second, Chris Oliver.
All in favor, please raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Kelly. Have a nice
Thank
night.
you.
Thanks for
Have a
coming.
good night. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is a resolution applying what is in legal terms known as a tolling period. So I've explained this before, but it never hurts in case there's someone new watching our meeting tonight. What that means is, as the governor has extended timeframes that affect planning board and other issues, we've elected to, instead of just automatically extending times, we've also been putting in tolling time. And in this case, we need to catch up with the tolling time so that Jeffrey Groves has time to satisfy the conditions of site plan. I'll notice that I have, just so everyone knows, I have signed the subdivision, so the final plat has been filed, which means that this resolution should probably say to satisfy conditions of site plan rather than and final plat approval, because that has been signed and approved. So all conditions were met. Anybody have any questions about this application? I believe this is going to be introduced by Mr. Oliver. Thank you.
Yeah. Resolution applying tolling period to time to satisfy conditions of site plan and final plat approval. Jeffrey Groves Estates, resolution number 2018-04L. Whereas, now therefore be resolved that the planning board hereby applies the tolling period to the project and extends the time to satisfy the conditions of the site plan approval to and including December 2nd, 2020.
Second, Ann Dexter.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand and signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously again. Now we have some housekeeping to go through. I just want to point out that there's a long series of minutes here to be approved. Everyone's had a chance to review them, I know, because I get the stellar honor of giving them first after Cynthia's cleaned them up. I go through and do the final cleanup, and they're sent out to board members. I want to point out that we have had a couple of board members, particularly the sharp-eyed Ms. Wasser, who's pointed out some things occasionally that I've missed too, which is really good. So I appreciate that, everyone going through it so carefully. The first set of, and by the way, just so everyone understands, Cynthia, our secretary, does put the draft minutes up within the required time frame after each meeting, which is 2 weeks. But the draft minutes are really just actions taken, not the dialogue. So that would be who made a motion, who seconded, what the vote was. So those are always up. These are a way to amplify the record out. So the first sets of meetings, Ms. DiNapoli was absent, which would be June 3rd, June 17th, July 1st, and July 15th.
Chairman Dupree,
Yes.
the first group is everybody was present.
Sorry, these are all board members present. I looked at the wrong sheet. These would be January 15th, February 5th, February 19th, April 1st, April 15th, May 6th, May 20th, August 5th, and September 2nd.
I make the motion. Ann Dexter.
Thank you. To approve as presented. Is there a second?
I second, Ann Weiser.
Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand and say aye, please.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Now, this next set of minutes will be for when Ms. DiNapoli was absent. That is June 3rd, June 17th, July 1st, and July 15th. Thank you, Vice Chair Dexter, for catching that. Make it a motion to approve them as submitted.
Brad Pigott, I make the motion.
Thank you.
Second, Stephanie Wasser.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. And the last set of minutes, or the second to last set of minutes, is March 4th, when Ms. Wasser was absent. May I get a motion to approve those?
So moved, Ann Weiser.
Thank you.
Seconded, Diane Tenapoli.
All in favor, please raise your hand and say aye, accepting Ms. Wasser, who was absent.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. And the last set of minutes, August 19th, Mr. Oliver and Mr. Pickett were both absent. May I get a motion to approve those as presented?
So moved, Diane Tenapoli.
Second, Ann Weiser.
All in favor, please raise your hand. Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously again, with the 2 exceptions of the abstentions. And there being no other business, I just wanted to say that, again, I'm missing seeing everybody, but a friend of mine in the governor's office told me that he thinks it likely that these will be extended through spring, just letting everybody know. It may not happen, but even though we're making great improvements, both in this county and across the state, there's still a lot of uncertainty, and apparently the medical advice would be maybe to let this lengthen out and see what happens once the really cold weather comes in. So it appears as though we'll still be meeting by Zoom for a while, but at any rate, we thankfully have the talent and resources of Councilman Neil Krupnick, Deputy Supervisor Neil Krupnick, to help guide us through our meetings here. And I will say also that I have had now the chance to take a look at a couple of other towns' meetings where the chair is trying to conduct the meeting via Zoom and run the meeting, and ooh-wee, I'm so happy
That's hard, yeah.
Oh my goodness. So,
You're talented, Michael, but
no, not that talented, I can tell you. I watch and I'm thinking, I cringe inside because I think, I know what's happening. They can't find it fast enough. They can't do this, because you see the chair doing, like, looking strangely at something. So this has been a very helpful time period for us, Neil. Thank you so much.
Thank
Can we
you.
get a motion
Thank
to
you.
adjourn?
Can
Thank
I
you,
just
Neil.
say one thing?
Yes,
Thank you
Liz.
For Cynthia and the board members to go through those, the Zoom transcripts. I know they're not that easy to go through, so.
Actually,
Thank you.
Cynthia has some fun with them, and so do I. The other day, Heydays, when somebody was in its heyday, was H-A-Y-D-A-Y, not H-E-Y-D-A-Y, one word. I thought, yeah, that heyday that we had back when we were on the farm. So Cynthia somehow picks up most of these, so it's fun for me to find the last lingering ones. And what was it, Warren Temple? I can't remember now. They sometimes mess up names too at first. So, but at any rate, may I get a motion to adjourn?
so moved. Ann Dexter?
Second, Ann Weiser.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Good night. And we started 2 minutes late, so the official time for the meeting was 13 minutes. In case someone was placing bets, Stephanie.
Is the over
I'm
under?
pretty close. I said 14.
Pretty
Okay.
close.
Pretty close. Everyone have a nice night.
Thank
See you
you,
later.
too.
Thank you.
Take care.